Welcome to the Big Fox Veterans Day Special. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we've gathered together a group of experts so that you can get all the information you need to know as a veteran, a family member to a veteran, or as a member of the community that want to help our veterans who have given so much to us. Our first group up is Jason and Lydia from the VA Finger Lakes Healthcare System.
Let's start out with maybe a simple question. Who can use your services?
There are several different qualification factors, but certainly we want to get every veteran in here that we can, and so we'll work towards that goal.
And well, let's get to that point then. How does someone start that process, begin that process?
Well, certainly you can go online, but we always recommend you come on in and see us. That way we can shake your hand and walk you through the process and help you along. And if for some reason it doesn't go right the easy way, then we'll talk about what's the next step. And that's something that you won't get if you go online. So stop down and visit us right there at the Bath VA, at the Veterans Service Center in Building 76.
What do you find to be some of the common issues that for vets to call you about in regards to?
So the common issues, so we find that a lot of vets wait too long, think that they're doing somebody else a favor by not coming in and taking advantage of the benefits. And so what'll happen is folks will come in and say, you know what, I've got cancer, this is going to cost me $2,000 a month, can you help? And the answer is always yes, we can, but it'd be much easier if you had been in the system and we had you established as a patient, but let's start the process. Or folks thought they had really great health insurance or good benefits through their employer, and those things change over time. And let's face it, healthcare in America is not going to get less complex or less costly as we go. So if you've got access to premium-free healthcare that the VA has, you should definitely take advantage of that. And oh, by the way, it's great healthcare. I'm not just a spokesperson, I'm also a client. This is where I get all of my healthcare.
We actually outperform the community in 33 out of 35 quality measures.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about better care, quicker access to care, and we offer, it's a one-stop shop. So you have your pharmacy, everything that you need in one building. A lot of the employees here, like Jason's a veteran. I'm not a veteran myself, but my father-in-law is a veteran. My uncle's a veteran. Both of my grandfathers are veterans. My son is active duty. So it's veterans serving veterans and family members of veterans serving veterans. So we have veterans at our heart and want to do what's best for them.
Do you find that some veterans are reluctant to contact you?
100%. And this goes along with the common misconception that veterans feel that they have the care that they need and they don't want to take away from another veteran. But by veterans actually coming in and getting health care with us, it's helping us to get more health care to more veterans. So the more veterans that come, the more staff that we can hire, the more practitioners, and the more services that we can provide to our veteran community.
What are some of the services that you provide that maybe people aren't aware of?
So, like I said before, we're a one-stop shop. We have primary care, mental health care, specialty care, social programs. We have a huge homeless veterans program, and we're fortunate to work with a lot of great community partners. But we also have the typical online care, telehealth care. We have women's health. We have an urgent care at our Bath location, but VA Finger Lakes isn't just Bath. There's actually 7 convenient locations. So we're up in Rochester, Canandaigua, Bath, Wellsboro, Wellsville. So we're all the way up and down New York State to northern Pennsylvania. We also offer audiology and speech, so a lot of our veterans will come and get hearing aids with us. We have low vision programs, cardiology, chiropractic care, dental care, and then we have other holistic programs, which I'll let Jason talk about that.
Yeah. So one of the big things is we've normalized getting mental health and behavioral health treatment as part of your overall health care, because we do more than just health care, it's overall veteran care. And I'll also add in, we have a women's health program. We have a whole health program, which I think is really exciting because it's not about what's the matter with you, it's about what matters to you. So that might be working on your range of motion so that you can use the fly rod again, or working on your joint pain in your knees so that you can climb the tree stand. So we'll just look at your overall health and see where we can make a positive impact.
One of the goals of this program was to reach out to veterans, but also to veterans' families and people in the community that just want to help our veterans. Do you offer anything for people that are not in the veteran community?
Absolutely. So we have our Center for Development and Civic Engagement, and we have volunteers that come in and help with the veterans, get them out of their car, push them in the wheelchair, get them to their appointments. They're wonderful, amazing people, but we could always use more. So stop down and see us if you've got a few hours to spare and help these veterans. And the other thing I always tell the families is if a veteran is catastrophically disabled, they're automatically eligible for VA health care at a time when they need it most. And so I urge veterans not to put that on their families. Get enrolled, get in the system now, so that your family doesn't have to deal with that when that time comes, because it's inevitable for many of us.
How does somebody get involved in the volunteer process? Is it, you said just stop in and then we can talk to you?
Stop in at our Center for Development and Civic Engagement on the Bath campus, and we'd be happy to walk you through the process. It's pretty easy onboarding, and we could get you a shift or two every week.
Our volunteers are a lot of the heart of our program, so they make up a good part of full-time staff. We have a group of volunteers called Red Coat Ambassadors, and those Red Coat Ambassadors are seen at the main doors, walking veterans in, getting them to their appointments, greeting them, making sure that they get the correct welcoming that they should be receiving and getting to their appointments. But we also have volunteers that work on some of our long-term care units, so our community living centers, that will definitely increase the quality of life for those long-term residents. So there's just a huge wide variety of volunteer opportunities, not just on the unit, but we also work with the DAV, getting drivers that will take veterans to their appointments. So volunteering in the community make a huge impact for our veteran community.
One of the things that you've kind of made clear is you really recommend for people to stop in.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a human endeavor, and we work best by engaging with the folks, and that's what we care about, and that doesn't happen over an 800 number or a website. And so we want to shake your hand, look in your eyes, and say, how can we help?
You're watching the Big Fox Veterans Day Special, brought to you by the Hilliard Corporation and Carapel's Collision. We'll be right back. The director of the Steuben County Veterans Service Agency, Gary Smith, is our guest on the Big Fox Veterans Day Special, brought to you by our friends at the Hilliard Corporation and Carapel's Collision. Let's start with this. What are some of the services that the Veterans Service Agency provides?
The biggest one we do is a lot of disability claims, and we do a lot of claims for family members of surviving family members is probably the best way to put that. From burial and sometimes pension assistance there. We also get into helping veterans get their education benefits that they've earned, and sometimes referrals to housing and medical programs as well.
So would you say to anybody watching, a veteran, would you say, please just contact you if you have any question?
Definitely. There's so much more out there than we even know from either the state and the federal government and benefits. Sure. So please reach out. If we don't have the answer, we'll try to find the answer for you and get back to you. Everyone's scenario is a little bit different.
Of course. What is one of the most common questions you get asked, or one of the most common services that you provide? So
one of the things that routinely I hear from my veterans and when I'm engaging with them get asked is, as they get older and leave their jobs, they talk about healthcare, and they never took it when they first came out of the service to participate in the VA healthcare system. So they always tell me that they thought other people deserved it more than them, that they were going to take away from somebody. And, it's trying to get them to think in a little different manner, like you using it is actually helping them to get more services because it's showing the need for them in our area to so by that, if we're using it,
right,
they're going to keep it here and they're going to give us more type thing.
Wow, isn't that amazing too? You earn that, and that so humble, maybe is the word, that you say, no, I don't want to take it away from someone else, when that's not what's happening at all.
Right, yeah. It's when you talk to a lot of veterans there, they're always more concerned a lot of times with their buddies and their comrades than they are themselves, and with stuff like this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's interesting because we're going to be talking in just a little bit about the peer-to-peer program. But before that, for those that did not serve that are watching this program today, how can we show support?
So New York State about 3 years ago started this Green Light program, and it's an outwardly visible program, and Steuben County does this, and you'll see the Steuben County Courthouse and some Steuben County buildings out there with highlighted in green there, kind of like the Blue Light campaign you've seen for the police and emergency responders there. But this is for them in November to show that, yes, hey, we recognize you, we support you, and they do provide a lot of services, and it's just not November. I think the county does a pretty good job of trying to help our veterans.
So people need to go out and buy a Green Light. Where can you find a Green Light? I should have probably not asked that question. Who knows?
I got mine at Walmart.
Okay.
I put it in my house there. So so a lot of your hardware stores and Lowe's that carries them. So yeah, I highly encourage everyone to get out there, get a Green Light, put it up, and show a veteran you care.
When did this when did this program start, Operation Green Light?
So it was about 3 years ago. Okay. They put it in there's legislation for it out in Albany, and it came down to the counties, and our county legislators were already beating me up early in October about, hey, are we going to do this stuff? And they were quick to jump on board with it. They've done it for the last couple of years now. What
a great idea, and something we've talked about, and it's as simple as befriending a vet.
Definitely, when you talk about befriending a vet, just an interesting statistic I found that the VA put out was, back in 2020, they estimated in New York State there was just over 15,000 World War II veterans still living. By 2025, they expect that to be just under 3,000 of them. And by 2030, we're going to be down into hundreds. And so get out and talk to these. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of information you can learn from that. And they're a very proud generation of people that if we don't talk to them now and capture this, we're going to lose this part of our history.
Yeah. And they're amazing stories and the lessons that they can provide to us.
Oh, I totally agree. And they're not all war stories about what you see in war movies of shooting things up. There's some great stories that come out of that about friendships and places they've been and seen, and just different things in life that they may never experienced and we can't replicate again.
And I'm also sure that they like the support or the conversation.
Oh, definitely. They love they love that they be able to tell their story. And most of them do. They're proud. We're proud of it. This was this is a time in their history where it was the honorable thing to do, and they went out there and they really felt coming home proud of their service.
Of course.
This was a time the whole country came together, and it was just an amazing time.
Before we go, what message would you like to send that maybe veterans aren't aware of, the message that you would want to get out to them?
Well, over the last year, there's been a lot of talk about the PACT Act there, and this is basically our toxic exposure thing for veterans. And, I think we should probably thank a lot of Vietnam veterans for actually bringing a lot of exposure to the PACT Act. But with that, back this last August, they were talking, I had a lot of people calling up wanting to get in because they thought, I think the information leading up to it was a little misleading, that they thought maybe it was going to end and they were going to lose their opportunity. The opportunity is still out there. So if you have concerns about it and you think you may be covered by, if you're a Vietnam veteran, a Camp Lejeune water veteran, Gulf War veteran, if you fall into these categories, and please come out and talk to us, because there's a lot of things out there and a lot of things have changed. And no, you did not, just because you didn't do it by August, you did not lose out. It is there for you. We need to explore this, and we're more than happy to educate you and help you out through the process.
So contact your office.
Contact my office is the number one thing I can tell you. Just we're there for you. This is what we do. and we're happy to do it and help you.
Peer-to-peer specialist Nicole Dabby is our guest on the Big Fox Veterans Day Special, brought to you by our friends at the Hilliard Corporation and Carapella's Collision. Let's talk about the Veterans One Stop Center for those that aren't aware.
The Veterans One Stop Center is a 501c3 nonprofit. We provide supportive services to veterans in one place.
And a part of that program is the Joseph P. Dwyer peer-to-peer program. Could you tell us about that specifically?
Yes. The Joseph P. Dwyer peer-to-peer support program is a program that brings veterans and their families together through social activities. We help veterans with transitioning from military to civilian life by getting out into the community and interacting with other veterans.
I can't wait to hear about some of these events because I have a list in front of me. Tell us what a typical event is like.
Well, a typical event, we get together, we enjoy an activity and a meal. To make a long story short, we have very fun events coming up. A favorite of mine is Breakfast with Goats at Ziegenvine Homestead. We get together, we have breakfast, and then we go and we socialize with the goats.
So pretty self-explanatory, Breakfast with Goats.
It's a lot of fun.
And you have other options, something like a book club.
We do. We have a Veterans Book Club. So with the Veterans Book Club, we get together at a restaurant. We have dinner, we socialize, we talk about the book, we talk about books that we want to read, choose one, and then we meet the following month and do it all again.
So I want to make this really clear. This is not just for Stu Ben. This is for anybody that is a vet that wants to be a part of peer-to-peer program. So they can just contact you, correct?
They can, yes. Or they can go on our website and see all of the events in all the counties that the Veterans One Stop services. On our website is vocwny.org, and there's a listing of every single event that is going on in every county.
And what are some of the benefits that you've seen from the peer-to-peer program?
Well, one case in, one veteran in particular didn't really speak a lot at the events, and then he has been coming out to our events, and he's fun to talk to.
That's wonderful. Just before we go, what is the biggest barrier or hurdle to get someone to come to an event?
The biggest barrier would be transportation.
So can people volunteer to help transport a vet to the event?
Absolutely. Veterans who have their own vehicle can come out to the event. Also, if a veteran needs transportation and they have a friend, they can bring their friend to the event.
You're watching the Big Fox Veterans Day Special, brought to you by the Hilliard Corporation and Carapella's Collision. We'll be right back. The president of the Twin Tiers Honor Flight, Patricia Vincent, is our guest on the Big Fox Veterans Day Special, brought to you by our friends at the Hilliard Corporation and Carapella's Collision. I'm sure there's many people watching today that aren't familiar with what an honor flight is. So could you tell us?
Honor Flight is a trip to Washington, D.C., free of charge for veterans. We take them to all of the memorials, go to Arlington for changing of the guard, and treat them to a nice weekend. Right now we're doing overnight bus trips, 2-day bus trips, and have a big welcome home for them when they come home.
What is a typical trip like for our veterans?
We leave 7 a.m. on a Saturday. We travel down to D.C., make a couple of stops on the way. We have fun on the bus. Time goes really fast.
I'm sure.
When we get there, typical trip will be stopping at Navy Memorial to begin with. Then we go down and do Vietnam, Korea, and Lincoln. This last trip, we then went to World War II on Saturday afternoon, and then went to our hotel, had a nice dinner, had a program. We presented the Vietnam memorial pins to our veterans from the Vietnam War. We also had a World War II veteran that we pinned him, and we had 6 Korean veterans on our last trip.
How rewarding is this for the veterans?
I think they just think we're going to go down and drive around, and they actually get out and walk around and have time to look. A lot of the Vietnam veterans find names on the wall that of people they served with, and that's very moving for them.
Sure.
Same with the Korean veterans. You know, when we go to Arlington on Sunday morning, we have changing of the guard. This last time we also laid a wreath. They tell us it's a trip of a lifetime. They tell us that it was very moving. They didn't think it was going to be that way. And there's something about traveling to D.C. to your memorials
Sure.
with other veterans. They have time to sit and tell their stories. And that right there is the biggest part.
When a veteran hears this, how do they get involved in Twin Tiers Honor Flight?
They can go to the twintiershonorflight.org website, and we have applications on there for veterans. We also have them for their guardians and for volunteers. Each veteran has a guardian for the weekend, whether they think they need it or not. They have somebody that just, walks with them. Some of them need a wheelchair, some of them don't, some of them just need somebody to kind of talk to. So everybody gets a guardian for the weekend. Some of them have a family member that goes with them, son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter, that type of thing. And that's a very important part of our program is the guardians.
How does someone become a guardian?
Again, they can go to the website and fill out an application. If you know a veteran that you think would like to go on a trip, have them fill out an application, put you down as the guardian, you fill out yours, and your applications get matched up. If you want to go just as one of our guardians that are volunteers that, for somebody who doesn't have a family member, doesn't have a friend or whatever to go with them. So, fill out an application, let us know that you're interested, and we'll fix you up with a veteran.
And for someone that isn't able to travel, but they want to help the Twin Tiers Honor Flight, go to twintiershonorflight.org. They can donate, correct?
You can donate. Certainly, there's a link on the website. One of our biggest needs is mail call. On the way home, each veteran gets a bag of mail call that we give each of them. And volunteers, school groups, church groups, individuals write notes, color pictures, that type of thing, and we put them in their bags, and those are very, very, that's probably one of the most moving parts of our whole trip is on the way home when we do mail call.
That is amazing. I'm so glad that you told us that, because I'm sure people will want to spread the word amongst their church, amongst their volunteer groups. So thank you for telling us about that. Just before we go, because you are the president of Twin Tiers Honor Flight, what does it mean to you personally to be the president?
My first trip was on a Father's Day. My dad had already passed away, and I did it in honor of him because I knew he would, or I thought he would really enjoy it, which, it kind of got me hooked. And,
sure.
I've done every trip, I think, since that one, and we've just finished Mission 16, so it's probably like 13, 14 trips that I've done.
Wow.
Each one is very special. Each one is a little bit different from another. And we, keep saying when we come back, this was the best trip ever, but we also know that the next one probably will have something else that makes it special. So I think just hearing the veterans' story, one of our big things is that we encourage them to tell their stories. The National Archives is doing a program where veterans can go to the Archives website and tell their story. Tell their story to their family, which a lot of family people didn't hear the stories or haven't heard them yet. And probably one of the biggest regrets we hear from family members is that they never heard them before.
Yeah.
So, encouraging them to tell their story and just getting to know them. I mean, these guys have amazing stories. They have heartbreaking stories. They have, each, like I said, each one is very different, and each trip is a very moving one.
Thank you for watching the Big Fox Veterans Day Special. We'd like to thank all of our guests for being on the program, and most importantly, we'd like to thank those who have served or are currently serving to keep us free. Thank you.